We're towards the end now. Who will be the Primal Dawn 2v2 champion? Could be you! Actually, it's not because you're not playing. It can't be us either because we're not playing either. But there's a chance it could be Bunny and Money, or it could be Rise and Soul. They are in the lower finals. And who knows, if we continue on forwards, we could see one of them maybe make it to Grands.
I mean, one of them definitely will. That's set in stone for sure.
You never know. Lightning could strike, and maybe two players could rise from the bracket dead.
Yeah,
right?
Just like two players like invade Rise and Soul's homes and start playing on their PCs, and now it's no longer Rise and Soul.
As long as we keep stalling, there's a chance it could happen. It's all going to plan.
Well, no more stalling now as we do get into this first game. Rise and Soul, Bunny and Money. Going to be seeing that Thor coming in. Ooh. Just a quick second there. I think Money was not tapped into the game, but opening up, we have progressively seen Rise and Soul's team comp sort of change throughout the day. We started out, obviously, with the Kaya and the Olgrim, and then we saw Rise over onto the Thor, and then we saw Soul over onto the Brain, and we see Money Holla just delete Soul while I'm talking. Thank you very much.
It's the team comp of Theseus.
I suppose.
Completely rebuilt. And
I suppose so, yeah.
Money has found so much more activity in between the sets we had seen. He was kind of sluggish way back earlier on in the winter finals, but I'm happy now that we're seeing a little bit more impact from him, especially off stage. Money, unfortunately, does still fall in the process. Bunny playing a little bit safer, albeit still she's heading towards the end of the stage a lot more. She's ledge guarding a lot. A side air comes by from Rise. This hammer is looking like it will be a problem for them this set.
Dude, that recovery KOing Rise is like a nuclear blast. Doesn't matter where you are on the stage. If you are red and you get hit by an axe recovery by a Mugi, you're vaporized.
Oh yeah.
Right now, though,
to come for the rest of the set.
Absolutely. Money, speaking of being vaporized, that Ensig just chunking away and deleting that second stock of Soul. Very fast start to this set. Good interruption there with that weapon play by Soul. Red team holding on to a lead here, but if they can get... Well, if the blue team can get rid of Money soon enough, could be looking a bit better. We were talking before about pacing and about how if the game gets too fast, we were seeing the red team start to struggle. Right now, it does feel a bit more to the red team's pace. They're finding the options they need. And Soul and Rise sort of feel like they're constantly scrambling to regain control.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because Rise and Soul do need a little bit of extra space before they can go for engagements. This allows extra spacing opportunities for somebody like Moni especially. Bunny can find follow-ups a lot more effectively, and she's been so good about stage control and leaning towards these ledges. But right now, Soul especially has been struggling in this matchup, and I feel the Spear has not been able to find the same impact as it did back in the last set.
Question now will be, though, how long can Bunny maximize the value on this second stock? The blue team do find that side air now. Can they capitalize, get something onto Money? Money just gonna find the side air, actually value onto both players. Recovery is... dude, Rise was in orange. That almost KO'd. That is disgusting. Dude, it's the nuclear blast!
Oh, no. Oh, there it is.
Yep, there it is. Bomb drops, Rise left alone.
And you need to bring out the orb if you Rise. That orb was kryptonite against the red team. Oh, but GG's on game number one. Big question for you, Hackle. Are we going to see the swap back to the Olgrim?
I think it's possible if they get backs against the wall. I think... Oh, well. You know, Keg, I have a really weird feeling we might see the Olgrim next game.
Really? They call you Hackledamus.
They do call me that. That's been known to. I've been called that quite a few times, even.
Oh yeah, even before you were born, it was already known.
Yeah, it's been known, and I predicted perfectly that Soul would swap back to the Olgrim. Now, I was going to say that if they went down 0-2, I thought we might see a character swap. But Soul, I think, just said, okay, Spear worked against the last guys, not working against these guys. I'm liking the Axe still. Gonna be going back over to the Lance. And I think Lance against a character like Imugi can work pretty well as well. And opening up, I mean, Lance doesn't matter if the Axe is just chunking away and Rise with the hammer is just doing work. Nothing really changed in terms of the weapons they're using for the start here, but still very different beginning to this game.
Very, very different beginning. You're completely right. But I just think overall, having this Olgrim pick is going to be a lot more optional against Moni, who has been taking a lot of advantages of aerial gameplay. And I think Soul wasn't able to capitalize on a lot of that on the Brynn last game. Happy to see the swap now. I think the Brynn just was not finding a lot of value at all. Side sig for a side sig, a soul for a soul does lead to a first stock on both sides. D-sig from Soul once again sends Bunny into the air, separates out both the red team. Absolutely what this blue team needs to go into game number 2.
And now, important to note, Bunny definitely would have lost the stock there pre-patch because that D-sig on Olgrim got hit very hard in terms of force. KO's a lot later now. And so Bunny probably thanking her lucky stars for that nerf in that situation here. We are seeing even game in terms of stock numbers, I do say, until Soul loses it, and then Money just seeing red takes damage into his hands. Yeah, back to an even game.
Moni's in a tough spot right now. Great nair, sending another player away. Rise does not care. Oh, deep orange on that second stock and is fully engaged in all of these 1v1s. As I say that though, Caster's Curse. It's Rise down to 1 stock.
Rise got dismantled there on the end of that stock, just really didn't have any way to answer back, but still. Soul actually the healthiest player on the board, having to put in the work for his teammate. That dodge actually caught Money. Good pause on that final ending move. Now Soul getting a bit desperate here with this axe. It's caught with a GC Light. Those are those stranger offstage options we know Bunny for loves that GC Light with the axe offstage. Blue team trying to clean house here. Can't find it onto Bunny quite yet. Sweat beats come in, but Rise closes it out.
Very, very muddy matchup so far. Soul now, the first player to go down in game number 1, has had the most survivability. Only player left now. Caster Curse? No, not yet. The only player left now to have 2 stocks left in game number 2. The Lance is now out. There it is. The Nair was great about chipping away some damage. A struggle that this blue team had in game number 1. Things were looking good for the red camp for a while. However, things are slowly turning the tide back into blue team's favor as long as Rise can find impact on this orb.
I think more importantly, Rise needs to be able to let Soul play the front and capitalize where Soul gives options, because Rise can't afford to be the one on the front line right now. We see the amount of damage that Soul has in comparison, and rightfully so, Soul is putting in the work here with this axe, finding all of the unanswered hits. Rise doesn't have to play the game, Soul's just doing it for him.
There it is, though. That's Bunny gone. Moni in a precarious spot, and
what
it's not enough
up.
with a great sword. Huge to see. Oh, 789 damage.
Are we seeing the second coming of Cody Travis? We were talking about this backstage, about the fact that the only other player we've seen recently, or not recently, but in past, put up crazy numbers this consistently was Cody Travis. And now Soul showing that he can do the same. We saw 900 previously, we saw almost 800 that game as well. The Olgrim definitely was the correct choice here.
Died in 2024, born in 2025. Welcome back to Cody Travis. Holy. Things are looking pretty dang good for this Olgrim, even post-nerf. Back to Fortress of Lions we go. No swaps for anybody. At this point, I'm not expecting to see swaps from Bunny and Moni at all. We could maybe see the swap away from the Thor, potentially, if this game doesn't go in blue team's favor, but I have a feeling both of these teams are pretty locked into what they want for this set.
I think at this point, yeah, the only thing we could possibly see is if Rise keeps, or doesn't keep, but starts to struggle a bit more on this Thor, we could see a return to the Kaya, but I think Rise seems to be so confident on this Thor, like the way Rise moves with these weapons just feels a lot more momentum-based than we saw on the Kaya. The Kaya was a bit more calculated. I think Rise seems to be enjoying playing the Thor a bit better, which is always important. And the Cider will close out that first stock of money. Money actually not as damaged as other blue team members. Ensig off the weapon pickup, off the rip. Money gonna get a bit trigger happy with it even.
Oh, this could be potentially explosive for so many different players. Soul's the first one to fall. Bunny and Rise nearly there too. The Amugi, a double KO, has completely wiped the entire board of a blue team. This is such a big advantage now. Money, low on HP, well, somewhat low on HP, has been able to bring it back against both the blue team members, playing it safe. Bunny was holding the line. She's the next to fall. This is
well, that's
so
just a stock.
good. There it is. The Thor does it. Money's down to 1 stock.
That signature is so fantastic if you find it in the right place in the follow-up. And so, I mean, the Thor is very justified at this point, and the blue team bringing things right back. If they can capitalize on Money, which they've done a decent job already, Money entering the orange. Rise, in the meantime, is in a bit of trouble, but still, they have the game plan. They have the blueprint of just getting rid of Money Holler as soon as possible.
That might be Money gone.
Pretty doable here. Side air comes through, just can't escape the hammer. Rise, the onslaught onto Money.
Oh, I think that might be game 3. Does Bunny give it an old country go? Answer is yes. Gauntlets are out. Great gravity cancel down light.
Couldn't quite find the recovery though. Wasn't able to chase dodge over the edge of the stage. Gonna go in deep for that ground pound. Finds the Nair as well. Blue team could lose their stocks there. Oh, and Bunny doesn't have the options to get back.
Who would have thought their strongest attack would have been a spot dodge?
Sometimes it is.
Yeah. Good attempt though from Bunny at the very end. Unfortunately, it was just not enough. Game number 4. We'll have to wait and see if there's any major swaps. We could go back to Fortress of Lions, and yes, we do. Any swaps? The answer is no. At this point, if you're Rise and Soul, the answer is yeah. I'm not swapping away from this. Even the Thor was finding so much more than we saw in game number 1.
Yeah, and I respect the fact that Bunny doesn't want to just go next there. There are some players that will just jump off and say, okay, that's it, game over. But I think Bunny, I like when players really will just play it out to the end, because that's not only a good mentality, but it also means that you're keeping yourself warm. You're not saying, okay, game's just over, it's whatever, go next. You're saying, I want to fight this out, I want to keep myself ready. And perhaps we will see the result of that this game. Perhaps we'll see the blue team just take it home in a 3-1. The question will really be, can the red team answer back to this Orgrim swap?
And she had a tangible chance in that 1v2 too, to at least get rid of 2 stocks off of the blue team members.
Oh,
right
my goodness.
away, Rise was targeted. Great double side there from the Axe. Bunny solidifying a very huge early advantage. Now if she can solidify a stock against Soul, this will make it even larger of a gap. But the down sig over and over again from Soul to create that space away from Bunny's gauntlets.
Yeah, really good get off me tool that Orgrim has in his kit. Now looking to get rid of Money there. He goes now kind of a deceiving position, because obviously Soul has that extra stock, but Rise also is creeping toward the orange on this second stock, and if those stocks get too disjointed, that's actually more of a weakness than a strength. You're leaving one player alone way too much at the time. Honestly, maybe a good thing that Soul falls there if Rise can get through, and that he does. Actually choosing to go back in and keep that fight going, pressing the advantage of having stage control, but now back into this neutral situation.
You mentioned earlier about keep away tools, and I think blue team had that in spades. We see the side airs from Rise's hammer has been such a great way of batting quite literally a lot of these players towards the center of the stage. But once again, Bunny, she finds an opportunity and takes it. Rise now down to their final stock. There is a very real chance we go to game 5.
Right now, Soul just doing the most for the blue team here, making this axe look like it's a, oh my goodness, sorry, excuse me, look like it's a light weapon. Kind of a tongue twister there, but finds the side air, can't secure the KO off that sidelight set on the orb, looking to try and close it out, goes for the grab pound, goes in deep even, Money Holler. Tries to get the answer back, but can't.
Good start. Neutral air. Rise brings Money down to their final stock. As long as Soul can keep this alive, as long as Rise can stay alive here, this could definitely be a solidification for grand finals and 2v2s. Bunny has to play very careful. Team damage is not allowed at this point. Great opportunity found by Money. Rise is gone.
Can he do it again?
Oh, Soul. Remember, this has been a player.
This is Soul.
That has averaged at least 900 damage in a lot of the matches we've seen from them so far in our block.
And that 900 damage game It did end.
Was it just last game where we saw nearly 800 damage from Soul?
I'm not sure if it was last game or the game before, but Soul is the player who got a very similar 1v2 just a few sets ago. Can he do it again? Walks into the end light. Ooh, the pivot side air, though. Soul could be in trouble. Finds a side air of his own. Ooh, axe on screen. GC end light jumps out of the side air.
One recovery could do it now for Soul. Gotta be very careful. The Amugi has such crazy strong signatures. You have to play it safe. But right now, that great sword's gone. Bunny has the axe, waiting for the ledge guard. It's up to Money to go for the initial engagement, but Soul is
Bunny!
What was that, Bunny? Oh no! Oh no, 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 no! This could be elimination! A signature hit against their own teammate. Money is a breath away from going down. Elimination. Soul needs one solid hit. The spot dodge from Money. A great sword grabbed. Could be messing it up now. Soul is playing this very patiently. There it is. Money's looking for one prime hit. Each player is a single hit away from determining how things go. A downlight to solidify things. And blue team moves on.
I am head in my hands, and if I'm Bunny, I'm probably doing the same. How heartbreaking, but also, is Soul just the GOAT? That's 2 for 2 on incredible 1v2 clutches.
Absolutely. Oh, a breather needed after that one. BalloonBoy and Raydish immediately lock in. They're ready to go for grand final.
Don't replay it, production. Don't put that in slow-mo.
Oh, heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking for one of the most entertaining performances we've seen so far this tournament. Really good adaptations, great results overall for, excuse me, a unique legend combo too that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's so exciting to finally see a grand finals. Not a Wushang, not an Ulgrim, not an Onyx in sight. And I say not an Ulgrim in sight because we're seeing Soul locking in the Rayman.
Okay. Having that previous footage, knowing how Raydish and BalloonBoy like to play, going punchy for punchy against double gauntlets, against boots, against orb, even, you really need something to have these engagement factors in. Who cares about our faces? We're already going in the grand finals.
Go back! Go back! They're loading in!
We are the stage.
Yeah, going into this, we can see another swap out of the Soul and Rise team. Very adaptable team. I expect BalloonBoy and Raydish, maybe not quite so much. Got to keep in mind, though, although the fact that BalloonBoy and Raydish are on winner's side, they do have that extra set to fall back on. Rise and Soul are hot off a long lower bracket run going all the way here. BalloonBoy and Raydish, even if they've been like, they could be been playing ranked, could have been practicing some team combos on the custom lobbies, they're going to be colder than Rise and Soul just because they haven't been playing active tournament sets in between. They've been waiting for a while. I think opening up, we're seeing that heat come into play as the blue team have been looking pretty scary starting things out.
And you bring up a good point. Generally, teams that have to wait a while for grand finals are like, nah, I just wanted to keep playing. But if you have to wait a while, things do get a little cold and dicey early on. Things have started off directly even. A KO from each side. BalloonBoy, kind of like Bunny, loves to dance around these edges with gauntlets. Of course, a different legend in mind. Recovery is out. BalloonBoy does not have a weapon, but is not afraid to engage yet again.
What an interrupt by Raydish. I mean, I was saying it last time we saw them play. You either hit both of them or you hit neither. They're so good at covering each other and rescuing each other from these bad situations. BalloonBoy will still fall, but Raydish kept that stock going. Team combo coming inside there as well. It keeps on going!
Timing on that down state from BalloonBoy was exquisite. The Zariel can be so strong, especially with how much speed they have. They are a little slow, actually. I do want to take that back, but they do have a lot of oomph behind them, and there it is, a great side sig. Soul on this new swap now, something that we have not seen yet in the upper echelons of this tournament, down to one stock. I don't know if this has been a good endeavor so far.
Oh, Rise can't secure the ground pound there. Actually, going to get caught by the side like Sarah just now. He's surviving. Raydish looking for it with the ground pound. Zero respect for the recovery coming out of Raydish. Now back to an even game. One player left on their second stock each. Raydish going to be the one on the final. That side is going to close out BalloonBoy, but Rise could not be long for this world. Raydish, good recovery. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense.
It's looking good. Soul, again, survivability is key. This axe needing to find intrusion points to help out alongside that hammer. BalloonBoy once more has been keeping to themselves. It's been the speed boots of Raydish that have been so good about locking players down and sending them straight to the BalloonBoy. Up in the air though,
Ooh.
Raydish has the struggle of being off stage, not where you want to be with the battle boots recovery. It's almost like the first two stocks never happened. Raydish and BalloonBoy have taken a little bit more damage than the other two of blue team. BalloonBoy especially, he's got to be careful now. Orb is out for Rise. Has been good to start things up. A great neutral sync from Soul confirms at least the first final stock gone. Now red team, this has been a great turnaround for the Rayman.
Stomp, side air, Raydish hit by the weapon throw as well. Options dwindling, dodges through the downlight. Clinging on to life, going to be going for the ground pound off the D-light. Options dwindling in the blue team, just ensuring Raydish has no way off this wall. Gets back up, sent straight back down. And Soul going to be the one to close out game one. Still, fresh legend, still 581 damage. Light work for Soul.
Huge, and I think Soul might be able to find more comfort in the fact that swapping similar legends around, but maintaining that axe does allow a lot more malleability and finding just a refreshness in gameplay that I think is important for some players to find that impact in. And you could also argue too, going in from the lower bracket, if there is going to be a reset, you're anticipating having to play more games on the blue team side. You want to keep swapping characters around to have that chance to reset the adaptability and add more mental work for Raydish and BalloonBoy.
For sure, and I think also to your point previously about like resetting adaptability with character swaps, BalloonBoy and Raydish, they are very set in their ways. They're not going to be changing anything. They're going to be sticking with this. And I think, I mean, I was actually like, I asked BalloonBoy earlier, is there a pocket pick right now besides the Devil Jin if it's not working out too well? And he said no. So he has to be feeling good on this character, or that's just he's stuck with it. Unless something goes really, really wrong.
If BalloonBoy wins BCX, do you think we'll see Gauntlet Gloves be 2 giant balloons?
I would love that. That would be so funny. But then that sets a dangerous precedent of what if someone with like a much worse name wins BCX.
Well, then they won't get much worse gauntlets.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, BalloonBoy has barely been scathed at all in this game. Rise and Soul, however, have been much worse for wear. The speed for this character has amped up so much more. In fact, almost no gauntlets have been seen. Gravity cancel taken BalloonBoy into a recovery, and it just keeps going. Another one. It keeps going, but sure, it leads to the demise of Raydish. That's perfectly fine. BalloonBoy has been the star of the show in game number 2. Unfortunately, it seems like they may have fallen into the blender, but they're unblendable. They cannot be blended. They are still solid. Back on stage, another side air from Soul has kept BalloonBoy off the stage. Gauntlets are in play, though. Back into the position he wants. Rise has to get back up. The goal now, the strategy, avoid the Zariel.
Yeah, I mean, he's really playing very hot this game. Finds another handoff into the side sig.
Oh, good lord.
I mean, we said they might need time to warm up. If this isn't then warm, I'd be very afraid for the blue team.
College Chapel Roan, they're hot to go. BalloonBoy's doing such a great job starting things up and playing off of Raydish at the same exact time. The signatures have been on point. Off stage, Rise, not sure what to do, is waiting for Red Team to make the first move before they can adapt and react. Is there enough time? They do have the GC neutral sync. They can get back on, which is good. Very, very good. Keep in mind, blue team is up 1 game, but they need to get the bracket reset.
Oh, that end sig would have been devious to hit. BalloonBoy was in a dangerous spot for a second there, but still got to keep in mind full stock ahead. Can't find the Sarah handoff. Raydish still living on this second stock as well. BalloonBoy looking for the edge guard here with the unopposed the ground pound.
Soul lives.
Gonna get a bit too overzealous there.
It's getting scary. Soul's in the air. What do you do if you're Soul? You have so little HP and you have no help. No one's there to save you. The devil's against you. 2 stocks, each to spare.
Well, okay, dude, I guess everyone's just putting up crazy numbers today. BalloonBoy 700 damage. What is this tournament, dude?
One of the most entertaining ones.
Yes, we get to see this interrupt. The weapon throw. Dude, that might be the craziest interrupt I've seen in a very long time on that replay. that weapon throw. Just I don't think to do that. I mean, obviously I don't because I'm not playing here. Like, but who thinks to do that? There are so few players that I can picture who actually would execute that save. Soul is putting up such an incredible performance today in all aspects. It's just such a treat to see.
Now, I have a question for you, Hackle. If you're in Soul's spot, again, do you swap back to a more safe character? The Rayman has been doing a good job, don't get me wrong. But because now you are facing a very tough spot where you need a bracket reset, more games are being played, when does that swap come out if it does?
I'm a firm believer that, like, it's only a character issue if you're 100% sure it's a character issue. And if you're not certain, there's no point, like, risking swapping to something that might end up being worse. And I think Soul, it's very possible he has the same mindset. So far, though, is the healthier player on the blue team. Raydish, very healthy. BalloonBoy definitely targeted down a bit more, but team combo coming in, that's going to be enough for Rise's first stock. Can they collapse into Soul as well? Not able to find the opening. Soul burns a dodge, unpunished for it.
And Zario's gauntlet down sig is so nasty how it launches you straight up into the sky. 2v2s, that's nasty work for your teammate. BalloonBoy is the first to fall though, at least for red team side. He's been targeted so much more by both Rise and Soul. They know who the real threat is.
Not to discredit Raydish at all, he's been doing a great job
Absolutely.
of creating openings, and the team combo game I think is the biggest thing here for the red team. The blue team are far better on these stray interactions and single hit handoffs, but that would have been terrifying. The red team have been able to find these much longer extensions seemingly out of nowhere in the middle of neutral.
I will say the BalloonBoy has been the king so far this tournament, it feels, of finding just the most unusual interactions to find opportunities for damage, and that's why blue team is targeting him.
It definitely does feel like they have chosen a sacrificial lamb here for this game, and BalloonBoy needs to play a much safer game for it. Raydish will fall to the neutral. BalloonBoy manages to space the movement. Does get caught with a recovery. Raydish comes in, relieves the pressure, and now BalloonBoy playing a safer game. Knows his teammate is way healthier, has the time to just sit back and play a reactionary game instead of trying to find the openings. Raydish, the orb, definitely a strong weapon on finding single hit openings now. Blue team looking to try and even things up. Recovery out of BalloonBoy, not quite going to be enough. The D-Sig certainly will be, and the recovery all the way in the magnifying glass.
What? Okay, it was an offstage gravity cancel D-Sig? Sure. Good lord, what is happening? I blink multiple times. I'm having blinking disorder, and yet every time a stock is gone from blue team, I'm fast forwarding in time. The
There is
human
no
VHS
time.
players.
There is no time to think.
Time does not exist with Raydish and BalloonBoy. Time is a non-existent factor, and neither is this game. Game number 2 for the red team. Now we
3.
head to game number 4. That's game 2 for the red team. We're heading to game 4.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I see what you mean. Oh my goodness, dude. I mean, Rise and Soul opened up so like hard as well. And I don't want to believe that it was just a warming up factor for BalloonBoy and Raydish, because Rise and Soul have been looking so good all day. And Raydish just, I mean, in the words of good old Swayzetronics in chat, Raydish turned up in that game. And I was seeing Rise over onto the Rayman, the Wushang.
Okay.
This is a dire straits pick, if ever I've seen one.
I wasn't expecting the Rise swap. I thought for sure it would be towards Soul, but okay. I guess the Orb Hammer has run its course. You need something a little bit less setup heavy, just more punchy overall. I think the signatures from the Aang will work out beneficially. You go to Demon Island, there's more setup room. That will make things a little bit more tough for red teams just because they're very CQC focused. But realistically, that's both teams too. I think the biggest advantage in this matchup is going to be for Soul.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and I think what's also scary is that, like, if you let Raydish and BalloonBoy start building momentum like this, like, even if you beat them now, they have all of that time to keep building, keep adapting, keep reading, and you need to stop that. Like, you need to stop the bleeding ASAP, and if they don't start dominating right now, I feel like with players as accomplished as BalloonBoy and Raydish, it's going to be a tough game a tough nut to crack even. Rise going for the D-Light Cider. That combo, unfortunately, now 1 frame after the most recent patch. Not to harp on the balance patch at all times, but there's a lot of really interesting interactions that are happening, unique to things that have been changed in the most recent patch. Oh, Rise! Dropping the downlight into side. Shout out to Fozy.
Unbelievable. Rai swapping to the Yang has looked so good. Even in what was normally an easy team interaction for Red Team, finally does lead to a KO against Rise. Took forever and a half to get there. Both members of Blue Team are gone now. Rise plays the evade game, waiting for his team to come back forwards, give the axe to Soul, and Rise gets the gauntlets back. His gauntlet game has made a world of a difference.
And we cannot forget the fact that BalloonBoy has...
Neutralite.
He's alive. BalloonBoy has locked in a lot of hours on the Ang previously with his former teammate Hideaway. So he knows this character. I mean, everyone knows this character very well, but BalloonBoy has won tournaments with this character. So he knows it very well. It's not a matchup diff issue. It's just the way Rice is playing it.
Yeah, but there's so much to consider at once on the stage here. Not only do you have the Ang to worry about, but the follow-up off of a Rayman.
Raydish!
Even Raydish!
Raydish!
Throwing it off! The turnaround's been huge! Raydish has been supplying so much consistent damage this entire match. And BalloonBoy has been the fear factor, but Raydish has been the silent killer.
In maybe just 5 seconds, what was a completely dominant lead for the blue team just fell apart as both red team members have an explosive play, and now we're back to a completely even game, and I would ask for nothing more in a grand finals.
It keeps on going. So scrappy. The distance being made now, gauntlets and orb, has been good for the team combo. Up in the air though. All micro interactions. Who can find the proper hits first? BalloonBoy interrupts the team combo, goes for a signature, is able to send Soul away. Oh, that's one. There's no chance of recovery for Rise.
That's gonna be it! Raydish and BalloonBoy rather, unfortunately not Rise, do take home that gold medal and crown themselves champions here at Moose Wars Primal Dawn 2v2s, and what a fantastic bracket and run it was.
Unbelievable run from these two. There was never really a time where it looked like they were not in the advantage. There were some scary moments, but as soon as the scary moments were discovered, they had the adaptability, they had the chances to pivot, and having the Devil Jin and Red Raptor proved wonders for these two players to go up against any sort of foe.
You know what's really ironic, Keg?
What's up?
We were laughing during the pre-show about the fact that you had your predictions and 2 out of 3 of them were eliminated from the tournament before we even started casting. Out of the 2 of us, you're the only person who got an exact placement right. I got 2 out of 3 of my teams in the top 3, but you put BalloonBoy Raydish first, and they won.
You know, it was all part of the long con. Had to put all my stocks somewhere.
Yeah. Everything invested into BalloonBoy and Raydish. I don't blame you.
I want the balloon gauntlets.
That would be very fun. And just to go on the analytical side for a second, I think what really made BalloonBoy and Raydish a terrifying team is what I mentioned before. The fact that they were able to find these sporadic team combos that racked up so much damage, seemingly in the middle of nowhere. Their handoff game and their capitalization on individual openings just felt completely unmatched. Soul and Rise had their team combo moments, sure, but their moments felt more like highlights. BalloonBoy and Raydish, the team combos felt like the norm. If you let them find the openings, they will always capitalize, always maximize, and that is terrifying to go up against.
And bouncing off of that idea too is that we saw BalloonBoy and Raydish take any stage's length, regardless if it was Demon or Miami, doesn't matter. They would divide it out to not only ensure 1v1s against the enemy team's players, but they also made themselves so punchy and up close that a lot of other teams they went up against utilized the spear, the axe, the hammer, something very space reliant, and they weren't able to get those setups available whatsoever. That was a key to victory for these two.
Yeah, and you said that they had moments where they were playing their 1v1s, and I think especially impressive as well as the fact that they made it look like they were playing these 1v1s and just focusing down one player, but whenever they were needed for their teammate, they were there at the right time, constantly. Like I said, you can't target one of them, you have to get both, because the other teammate will just peel off and go straight for an interrupt. So for a team who hasn't played in tournaments before, that was a fantastic showing.
Absolutely, and I'm sure it's not the last time these two will be playing together either. They are champions through and through, and the way things have been going, wouldn't be surprised if they're champions again. Of course, that is it for the Primal Dawn 2v2 showcase from Moose Wars. I have been Keg, and this has been Hackle, and we cannot wait to see you all for future tournaments. So don't go anywhere, because I'm sure we'll have a raid. I'm sure we'll have some more stuff and more amazing tournaments coming up soon, and we'll see you then.